The next thing I want to talk about is when to start mediation. So, a couple options, obviously, before filing for divorce, after filing for divorce, and I want to talk about the benefits of each. So, when people call me, and again, because we handle only amicable divorce cases throughout California, I think I've said that a few times, repeat myself, is when people call me, and we're having this consultation, I'm trying to get a sense of how amicable they are and where they are in the process of discussion of divorce. And I'm usually asking, have you guys talked about divorce? How recent has that conversation been? Have you discussed actual terms? So I'll try and really drill down to see where they're at as far as their level of cooperation, where they're at as far as their agreement. And usually they're going to fall anywhere in between. We've talked about everything and we agree upon everything. Two, we agree that we will be amicable. We just need some help filling in the blanks, running some numbers for alimony and child support, and a discussion on how, with their options for dividing up assets and debts and so forth. So those will be the conversations that we'll have. But if I find that they are not in agreement. They are cooperative, but they are having difficulty talking or even broaching the subject. Sometimes I'll recommend and here's why, and then I'll tell you what I was going to say is if you file for divorce at a point where you guys are really not in a good spot, even though you agree to do it amicably, the filing of the divorce papers could actually be the issue that causes you guys to not be amicable because now there's a petition for divorce and someone's being served, and all that goes into filing for divorce, it becomes real. Now you've discussed it, but now there's divorce papers on the table and now it becomes real. Maybe that will interfere with your ability to do the mediation. So when I have that feeling that that might be the case with them, I'll actually tell them, why don't you talk to your spouse? But one of the options is to start your mediation before you actually file for divorce. There's no problem in spending a month or two, or however long that takes, a week, to do your mediation, get everything resolved, then come back to us when you're in a good spot, and it'll make that process that much faster. The only downside to that is people are often interested in getting the 6-month cooling off period clock ticking, and that doesn't happen during mediation. So you can say, hey, and we've done this too. We just say, well, we're just going to file a divorce, get the clock ticking, then take as much time as you need to do your mediation at that point, because at least you're doing it within that 6-month time frame. So you're not losing time. We've had people who've gone to mediators and spent months in mediation, 4, 5, 6 months. And when they called us to complete their paperwork and put them through the actual divorce process with the court, well, we're a little frustrated that after 4, 5, 6 months of mediation, that they're nothing had started with the court, and they're basically at square one with starting the clock on the 6 months. So they have to go. That whole waiting period begins new. So that would be one downside to that. So we kind of talked about the after filing for divorce when, let's say that I'll give you for instance, we have clients, and again, through our consultation, they do a really good job at assessing if they're a good fit for us, or we're a good fit for them based on how amicable they are, their ability to reach an agreement and so forth. Very infrequently, something will happen during our process. They thought they had it all figured out, but then they hit a glitch on, I don't know, let's just say child support, spouse support, doesn't really matter. And they just can't figure it out, even with my help, walking them through their options. And I will do some light mediation. I don't even consider it mediation. We don't charge for it. It's just, in my opinion, I'm just filling in some blanks so they can make that decision on their own. But let's say they can't get past that. It doesn't mean you have to go right to an attorney. It doesn't mean you guys are fighting or need to litigate. That's where we've been referred people out to a mediator. So for just that one specific issue. So let's say it's a financial issue. And we've done this before. We say, hey, call this mediator. We're not affiliated with them, but they are a certified divorce financial analyst, and let them, spend an hour with them on a Zoom meeting and see if they can help you talk through these different implications and see if that resolves your issue. And then just come back to me and say, yep, okay, we got it resolved. That's a good way to do it after filing for divorce. So definitely benefits of doing doing mediation before. There's definitely benefits of doing mediation after. So it really depends on what your needs are as far as when you actually do your mediation. Now, again, and I said this in the beginning, do you even need mediation? If you just need a little bit of help If you just have a couple of questions, if I fill in a couple blanks as far as your options on what to do with support, if the court gets involved in the process, if you have to see a judge, if they have to confirm it, approve it, make sure it's valid, I am happy to do that. We do that on our calls, just for our initial consultations. We do that during the process. If something comes up, we can fill in those blanks. And we just had a client recently, and they're amicable as could be, but they really need help on the financial part, coming to having us run some numbers for you. And for instance, we ran spousal and child support numbers, and the amount that we calculated was more than they wanted to pay. And the question was, well, do we have to go off what the guideline support amount is from the state of California? And I said, no, you guys can come to a higher amount, a lower amount, none at all. It's completely up to you guys. So call me if you are thinking you need mediation. Talk to me about what it is you think you need mediation for. Let's go over what those issues are. Let's see if I can resolve this, and then we can skip the mediation process altogether, get right into the divorce process, and save you guys some money.